Hey guys, I'm Annie and welcome to my YouTube channel. I've been playing a lot of Lost Ark since its Western release, and I can honestly say I've had a really good time so far. Like with any MMOs, being thrown into a whole new world can be really overwhelming. There is so many new zones, classes, abilities, mechanics, even a whole lot of new currencies. As a new player, I was especially confused by the engraving system, which is why I decided to make this video to put together all the different things I've learned from many different sources to make it easy for you guys to jump into things. In general, engravings are, what are they? Engravings are passive bonuses that shape your character's build. There are many choices for these engravings, and while this video won't go into any details of how to build for your class specifically, I will do my best at explaining how the system works and how you can use it in the first place. If you find the video useful or helpful in any way, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and smash the bell for notifications of future videos. Let's jump into the game and take a look at how engravings actually looks like. We have the character profile right here by pressing P if you've got the default bindings, and there is a subsection here that's called engraving. You click that to see what you have active currently. Yours might look different to mine, don't worry about it, but I'll explain each and every part so that you understand what's going on. So, first things first. What engravings are currently active, you can see with the blue color that's highlighted. So, my Drops of Ether is currently active as level 2, as you can see here, and it got active for having exactly 10 nodes here. So for each 5 nodes, you activate the next level. If I had 9 nodes active here, the level 2 would not be lighted up, the level 1 would be. Similarly here, we have exactly 5 nodes under Emergency Rescue, and that's why level 1 Emergency Rescue is active. We also have 2 nodes active under Attack Power Reduction, which means it's not active. But that's a good thing, because the blue ones are actual buffs to your character, whereas the red ones are debuffs. Anyone want Attack Power Reduction? No, I didn't think so. The reason why you sometimes have nodes in the negative ones, in the red ones, is because certain pieces of items give you a good amount of nodes into the good stuff, but then at the same time, to balance it out, it also gives you some negative nodes. Before jumping into the exact different sources for all the different nodes and engravings, I want to quickly show you guys how it looks like when I change a piece of gear. So if I drop this ability stone here, and check the engraving, I can see that I now have 6 nodes active under Drops of Ether, which gives me a level 1 active and nothing else. That means all the other nodes that I had there was from that ability stone. Just to show you guys how it looks like when you have different types of items active. So, now that we've gone through that, we can go into what the different sources for engravings are. So overall, there's 3 main sources for these engravings. 1 is what I call the engraving bonus window. 2 is the equipment ability stone that I just showed you guys a second ago. And 3rd are from random accessories that you may find as you play the game. You can see them all here. So going into the first source, the bonus engraving window, which you open up by pressing Alt-I, you can see everything right here. The first thing you may notice when you open your engraving bonus window is that there's 2 different kinds of engravings. One is called combat bonus and one is called class bonus. The difference between these is that the combat bonus is shared among all your characters, all your classes on your account, whereas the class bonus is specific to your class. So in my case, I'm playing a sorceress right now, so the 2 different ones that I can see are reflex and igniter. Usually for most classes, you can only really have 1 active, although you may want to skill them up if you happen to find some books in the wild. Looking down at my list under the combat bonus, we can see that my Drops of Ether is active with 3 nodes, and all my other ones are inactive. No colors, no nodes, nothing. However, if you take note, you can see that my grudge is at 15 out of 20. That means that I have progressed my grudge, but it's not complete yet and cannot be used. The way that you make use of your engraving bonus items here is that you drag it onto your character profile. So in this case, I have both of these active here, but I can show you guys by removing them and then dragging these back in here. And yes, you can use the same one twice to get the effect 2 times. So that means instead of 3 nodes, we can actually get 6 from the same one. And if we look into the engraving page here, we can also see how that affects this. So this is how we started before, and if we remove this, we have indeed lost 6 nodes under drops of ether. And as we said before, you need 5 to activate level 1, and that means we actually currently have 0 on drops of ether. And then again, by dragging these back here, we again activate the drops of ether. Side note, advanced technique, you can also simply right-click this to get it to be slotted immediately, and to slot it into the second one, you can alt right click and get that one there too, just if you want to make things smoother and faster. By having the first tier of your engraving bonuses here, putting 2 of them is exactly enough, as you can tell, to activate the level 1 version of it. So for example, as a sorceress, I may actually really want to play with one of the class bonuses. So if that's what I want to do, I'll do my reflux, right-clicking and alt right-clicking, and in this case, I will have a level 1 reflux. Gives me 6 nodes, the 6th one doesn't matter, but 3 plus 3 is more than 5, and therefore I have level 1 active, and it's pretty useful to have if you want to quickly activate 1 level of your class bonus engraving. Alright, so now that you understand how to use the engraving bonus window, you might wonder, well, how do you activate it in the first place? To show you guys how to activate the different tiers of these engraving bonuses, I have stacked up a few books to show you exactly how it's done. So in this case, I have 2 books, 2 green books, and 2 blue books. Or rather, 1 stack of green and 2 stacks of blues. For the green one, I have, it says Sorceress Igniter Engraving. For this one, it says Grudge Engraving. And for this one, it says Sorceress Reflux. So I've got 2 class engravings and 1 general one. When an engraving is inactive, you will need 20 of the green books. So for example, if I would want to unlock the Grudge one, the first step of it, the tier 1 step for the 3 nodes, I would need 5 more green books. Unfortunately, the one that I have here of Grudge is actually blue. So I need to go and get a lower quality version of this, which I don't have currently, so we're not going to be leveling this. But what I do have is 2 Igniter Sorceress books. So let's show you guys how that looks like. We have the Igniter here with progress at 0. So we click this. There we go. And now I have 1 out of 20. Then we click the next book. And now my Igniter is at 220. So I'll keep doing that until I find 20 green books, and then Igniter would also be active and give you 3 nodes if you want to use it as the tier 1. And you might notice that I'm mentioning tiers, and what does that mean? The tiers in this window for the different engravings are basically determining how many nodes you get. So for the tier 1 piece, you get 3 nodes. Remember when I said 2 of these equals 6 nodes, which is more than 5, which will automatically give you level 1, which requires 5 nodes? Yeah, well, if you get the next tier, this will say 6, and if you would use 2 of them, that would be 12, and that would give you access to level 2 immediately by equipping them. So, going back to my class engravings, you notice when I mentioned that I have Sorceress Reflux blue books, this means since my Reflux is already at tier 1, I can actually progress it in towards tier 2. 10 is not 20, so I won't exactly actually unlock it, but I can work towards it. Also, a quick tip here is that if you alt-click this, you can decide to learn them all at the same time. And now, we're at 10 out of 20. Once I get 20 out of 20, my Reflux will be worth 6 nodes per, and I would be able to get level 2 immediately. Just to give you guys a visual, at tier 1, I have Reflux here and here, which gives me 3 nodes each, in total 6. And once I get the next tier of the Reflux engraving, this will be worth 6 each, and when you put 6 here and 6 here, the total here would become 12, and therefore level 1 and level 2 would be active. So I've quickly showcased the green book and the blue book, and you might wonder if there's further tiers than that, and yes there is. Just like most rarities that we find in other popular MMOs as well, it starts with green, goes into blue, goes into purple, epic, and then into orange, legendary. So just keep grinding and get those leveled up. Gold and legendary. Okay, so now that we've talked about the engraving bonus window, which is reached by pressing Alt-I, we're going to talk about the next way of getting these nodes onto your engraving page, and that is the ability stone. The ability stone is a piece of equipment that you can put here in your character profile. There are so many ways of getting these stones. You can get them from raids, dungeons, quests, drops, anything. The way that I got mine was one of the first quests that you receive when unlocked something called Faceting, which I will get into very soon as well. In my case, my stone gives me, as you can read, emergency rescue +5, drops of ether +4, and attack power reduction +2. So this is when we hit that part where we talk about the negative engravings. So in this case, I'm getting some really big numbers for emergency rescue and drops of ether, but then for my negative engraving, I'm getting 2 on attack power reduction. And obviously, if I had, let's say, 5 on attack power reduction and maybe like 1 on the other ones, I probably would not want to be using that. Let's show you guys how it looks like in action. So if you look at this here, I'll go back to my character page, I'll unequip it, go back, and everything is gone. So if we go get it again, we can see it here in action. All of these have been added. So because my ability stone actually has 5 nodes of emergency rescue, I don't even need extra points from other sources, and I will have level 1 already active. My 4 nodes into drops of ether is unfortunately not enough to activate anything on its own. I would need to combine it with some engravings from the engraving bonus window in order to make that active. So it's good to keep in mind that combining the different sources together to see if you can get a good setup for unlocking more levels, that can be a good thing to think about. So I think we're now ready for the faceting system. So let's go over there. I'm in the city Lutera, and the faceting place is this blue crystal here. If you're here for the first time, you may see a quest to actually unlock this in the first place, which will give you ability stones that you can play around with. So it shouldn't be too confusing to get here and get that started. I have some stones in my inventory that I saved for this moment, so we can see exactly how it looks like. So this is the interface for the facet ability stone, and I have 2 stones available for faceting. One of them has, as you can read there, one of them has lightning fury, stabilized status, and attack power reduction as the 3 possible nodes, and your nodes can end up anywhere from 0 to ±4. For my second stone, I have lightning fury, increases mass and defense reduction. The type of engravings that you get for your different stones are randomized as you acquire the stone, and here when you're doing the fasting thing, what is randomized or determined is how many nodes of each that you actually get. So the initial success rate says 75, and when the success rate is kind of high, you want to use it on the good stuff. So I'm going to try and use it here. That one failed, that one succeeded, 65%, click again. That one succeeded, which means that the success rate went down by 10%. Let's go for another one. That one failed, so success rate went up. So with success rate still being above 50%, I'm going to keep going into these positive things. Oh, there it went at 55%. That one failed, we're back up at 65%. That one made it, so we're at 55%. Oh, and that one, now it's down at 45%. So you kind of want to click on the positive ones when your success rate is high. If you know specifically that you want one rather than the other, you can try to time it so that you put the really high success rates on that one and the slightly lower on the second one. And when it's below 50%, you want to use it on the negative one. And there it is. So my final stone became 2 lightning fury, 3 stabilized status, and 2 attack power reduction. Not the best. Okay, so as you can tell, it's a lot of RNG. A lot of RNG involved in this. I have one more stone and might as well go for it as well. Three into Lightning Fury. 55. I'm gonna go for 55 down here. Nice. And now it's 65. That one cracked. I got that one back to 55. I'm gonna hope this one cracks. Nice. And then I go back to this one. Nice. And then I use the rest here. That was pretty good. So now for this one, I got 3 Lightning Fury, 3 increases mass, and 1 under defense reduction. Remember, red is bad, blue is good. Okay. And now I close those, and I have my new stones. I'll open my character profile, engraving, and I can show you guys how it looks like as we swap them out. So one of the new ones that we just made was this one. Lightning Fury, increased mass, and defense reduction. And there it is. Because I don't have any other sources for these engravings, it's actually not that good for me to use that stone because none of them are active. It's basically the same as not using anything. So that's why I'm using the ability stone that I had initially, because this actually gives me something. Okay, so for the final source of engravings, we have accessories. And that's why you can see them here under the engraving page. My accessories, I'm still leveling, still new to the game, don't have any nodes attached to them. But you can find gear that's randomly rolled into different types of nodes as you play the game. So that gives you another source of nodes that you can add together with the ones that you have from the other sources to make really nice combinations and activate more levels. Your accessories have engravings rolled into them permanently, so they're not changed in the way that we were rolling them for the stones. So that's why you'll probably see a lot of people in the in-game content grinding for the best accessories. And that's it. That's it. That's all on engravings. Just a quick TLDR. There's 3 sources for engravings. There's the menu that you reach by Alt-I, the engraving bonus window. There is the ability stone, and there's accessories with the nodes rolled into them. And you can mix and match everything to make it fit to activate the specific engravings that you want for your character. And to know if your engraving is active or not, you can see the blue color here on level 1, 2, or 3. And blue is good, red is bad. I hope you found the video useful and got into the basics of the engraving system. There's obviously a lot more to learn, such as how to build it for your specific class. I decided to not go into that for this video, but there should be plenty guides out there, as the specific guide that I was looking for was understanding the basics, and that is lacking. Also, feel free to share in the comments below what you think about the engraving system, and if you have any tips and tricks for other people who might be new to the game as well. Whew. Okay, now I need to figure out how to get back to where I was questing.